Today I think I'm going to present a little bit about Chinese companies and where they fit into like the entirety of the CCP's agenda for like, I don't know, for the next 10 to 20 years. And so for like a beginning, so I just like, I think to sum up what capitalism looks like in China, it's basically like state-led but enterprise-driven, meaning that yes, there are quite a lot of like private companies, but they're not just like subjects under regulation, but also like they're working towards like a shared goal that the state has made. And the ways that it is state-led is that a lot of like private companies, especially in like emerging fields like 5G and stuff, they receive a lot of like subsidies and regulatory arbitrage, and also um they have like a lot of support from the government basically. And like I know that recently, like what's been on people's minds is like TikTok and a lot of like Chinese companies getting banned in India, and it's probably going to happen in the United States as well. But it's like pictured here is like the company that made TikTok, which is called ByteDance, and you can see here that they're holding a party flag. So it's basically just shows that how like everything is state-led and stuff like that. And I don't know if TikTok is like a plan of this, but everyone knows that like TikTok is a form of like state surveillance. But it's not just TikTok. It's like a lot of like industries that's included in the China Standards 2035 plan, which it's probably going to be released in this year. And here I quote China Briefing. It says it will lay out a blueprint for China's government and leading technology companies to set global standards for emerging technologies like 5G internet, the Internet of Things, and artificial intelligence, among other areas. I'm pretty sure like a lot of the stuff that's been going on with like intellectual property theft has like kind of been related to this. So what do private companies do to comply with, you know, the agendas that the state has set forth? So basically, I just learned about this, I don't know, like a week ago, that there are a lot of like standard setting organizations or like standard setting bodies in the world, and a lot of like Chinese companies, like private companies, are like they have a place in these organizations. And basically like when like the different actors in the organizations vote, like obviously like different companies in different countries will want different things, so their votes are really scattered all over the place. But there is like, first of all, there's like a really large number, like a saturation of Chinese votes in standard setting organizations. And second of all, like basically the state tells them like what kind of like direction they're going to be voting for. So everyone else in the room is like, oh, like everyone else in the room is like voting for like different things, but you know, like the Chinese votes, they're basically just working towards one kind of standard that the state has set forth, which means that that's ultimately basically that's like what like how the standards are being set. And I'm not really sure what this means, but I just like learned that like establishing the standards does give like these companies and ultimately China a lot of like leverage in supply chains. And I think it's I could say it's kind of related to like what's been going on in developing countries, especially China's setting the standards for like infrastructure and stuff like that in developing countries. And as like Emily says in the podcast, that you know it's infrastructure, it's buildings, it's not easy to just like tear down. And you know like standard setting is quite an important part of what these companies do in compliance with like state strategy. And here I just like I really like I don't know a lot about the specifics of like each industry, like how biotech and stuff like that works, but like from reading a lot of like party documents and really like looking at how the same strategy has been worded differently from maybe the 90s to the early 2000s when China joined the WTO, or from now, the CCP is advancing a global strategy. So I do think that it is not that it's nothing is done really on the whim of one leader of this country. It is more so that there is a constantly evolving kind of consistent agenda that's been going on. So here I write that China Standards 2035 plan is not just a continuation of the Made in China 2025 plan. I read from an article, a study done in Europe, I think, in 2007 or something like that, and there was already a lot of evidence that strategic and heavyweight tech industries have been receiving a lot of government support. If the company goes bankrupt, the government will definitely bail it out or something. And also related to the standard setting the Chinese companies are doing, or just having more of a presence and influence over global standards and norms. It's been happening since China joined the World Trade Organization and acquired a lot of powerful positions in the United Nations. Apparently China's on the Human Rights Council, which is kind of hard to believe, but I think they're all part of a really long-standing and consistent ideology or agenda. And here, these are just my personal opinions. I feel not obviously not everyone in China knows that yeah, this is what our country is going for, but this kind of strategy for saturation and for global dominance is not it's not a secret. So the most prominent example is there was a propaganda film called Silent Contest, which was I don't know, around 2012 or 2014. It was circulating around Chinese university campuses, especially the military universities. So even people at that level knew that they were in this kind of silent contest, and they had to win by setting norms and saturating the international market and stuff like that. So people in China basically acknowledge that this is what we're going for, but in the West we have always been really hopeful that China's going to open up its economy and then it's going to open up politically. But it has been 30 years and counting, and I think it's time to realize that China doesn't really want to play by the rules, and it's not going to be under the CCP's rule. It's not going to be just another great addition to the free market of the world. And I said that we're not really trading with private companies most of the time. We are making deals with the devil itself. And here are some of the sources that I quoted. There's the podcast and the article that I cited, and I think that's all I'm going to present today. Thank you guys for listening.